Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is masterfrogez here, also known as Jackson Hellbender. You can call me Jack, here to talk a little bit about something that I hate talking about, which is politics. But don't worry, we're going to bring up a good side of politics here. I know it's rare, but it's there. It's actually hidden underneath the scraps that everyone is loving to complain about. So we're going to talk about a topic right now, very quickly, that a lot of people find very relevant nowadays. Which is, well, no. I'm not going to correct that. A good amount of people find relevant these days, which is the supposed U.S. debacle with gun control. Now, I like to clarify a couple things up. I am a firearms fanatic. Right here in front of me, I have just my Savage 22. I'm still relatively new, but I was raised around guns. I know how to shoot pretty much every style, know a good amount of everything. I only own my Savage 22, and I have a Mosin Nagant that I have in the back room there. We're not going to bring that out, but just know that it is a favorite hobby of mine, firearms. Now, a lot of people seem to have a bit of a misconception, and it's a misconception that I can completely understand why you would see the wrong way, and which is the whole thing of gun control. They're not going to take our guns away, I won't let you take my guns away, yada 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 yada. I'm going to tell you something. Whenever someone says something huge like that, whenever someone says something like, I'm going to make it my life's mission to take this from whoever, it's not going to work, and here's why, especially with guns. Yes, putting a gun in the hand of every citizen is a idiotic idea in the terms of the fact that some of them aren't, well, they don't have the sensibility of how to use it, or more importantly, to anyone that truly respects guns, the oh-so-fabled when not to use it. Answer, 99% of the time. Just because you have a power does not mean you should use it. And that's where a lot of people are sort of coming in with that into the government of, you're not going to take away our things, we need to protect ourselves. That I do agree with. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening right now throughout the world. Now, I'm not entirely in tune with daily events and politics and the news and all that. It adds to my depression. So, depressed kid with a gun, why should I watch about terrorist attacks? Anyway, off that tangent. Now, there's some things that you gotta realize. Don't always look at things as, I'm not gonna let you do this or anything. Whenever someone's pushing back at you, don't immediately push back. Because sometimes you don't, you should always leave the benefit of the doubt that you're not seeing the whole story. And you should view it from all 17 angles. In this case, I'm going to bring up the market. Right? We're talking about guns, now we're talking about economy. And this is where it's going to get in, this is where it's going to hit everyone home. They're not going to take guns away. They can't. They won't. Why can't they? Not because of rights. To damn with rights on their part, if they really wanted to, they could order, every National Guard, because, God knows the police, as loyal as they are not going to, there's no way that any power is going to convince every single police officer in every single county of every single state to all turn against the people at once, because, newsflash for you guys, they grew up with you too. They do have a conscience. So that's a mini call out to other people that say the police are evil. I'm not very fond of them, but I do see their necessity. I always see necessary evils and why they should be let continue to go on, and that's one of them. But going back to what I was saying, if they wanted to, they could get the entire military to sweep through the entire nation, go door to door, and take every single remnant of firearms out of everyone's lives if they truly felt the need. They're not going to. That would just be, I can't even begin to explain the backlash of that. in many, many different ways. But what if all the guns just disappeared? What if owning a firearm was illegal? What would that shut down? My God, how much money, how much revenue comes from gun manufacturers and from the steel, the brass, the gunpowder, buying the bullets, buying the extra magazines, buying all these millions and millions of accessories for all the millions and millions of different firearms. What happened if that all was just taken off the market? That would be an economic dive that no one would ever be able to get out of. I mean, hell, not only that. Imagine if this did happen. Imagine if the economy somehow was cushioned from it and that didn't happen. There's millions and millions of different companies and hundreds of thousands of different manufacturers and businesses that would go under because of the manufacturing of the steel, manufacturing of the bullets, manufacturing of all these different things. All this would just disappear because it would no longer be useful in American soil. That being said, they would all move. They're not just going to disappear. Smith & Wesson, Ruger, and all that, if they're outlawed, they're not just going to be like, oh, close up your doors, guys. Looks like we're going back to being farmers. No, that's not going to happen. What they're going to do is they're going to move, like every other business. They're going to move to a different country where someone does want them there. Whenever that happens, that means that the countries that get those companies are suddenly going to see something that the U.S. would not dare have, and that is an extraordinarily high rise in firearms technology. The reason why we have the best of the best of the best here in the U.S. is because all of our companies are here. We have free markets so that they can compete against each other, and at the top is going to be the company who has the best stuff. Whenever that happens, our government goes to them and says, hey, I'll buy that off you. And they're like, well, I'm not going to sell you the thing exactly. I'll sell you several million of them to arm all your troops. And then you can have the best of the best. And it's like, okay, that works. And that's how free market goes. That's why that's why we are the U.S. is so renowned, and that goes way beyond just basic firearms. That also goes into all the different military technologies and well, everything about the military, actually. We grow on it because we have a free market. Same with medicine. We would not have the best medicine that we do if companies were not allowed to compete for their chance to get rich. There'd be no motivation. Human spirit doesn't exist when it comes to when money is in question. As soon as it's introduced, you can't take it away. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, hell, we're an empire. They're not going to take guns away because they would lose everything else. Accidentally. It would all run. It would disappear. Run to the hills to somewhere else for someone else to start growing their military. U.S. wouldn't have that nonsense, no. And they wouldn't also cut it off to where it only goes to military study, because then if anything, it would slow. You'd see a drop in in firearms production and evolution from down to 3% of what it is now. We have new guns coming out every day. All this new technology, all these new different innovative ways, it's too much. They're not going to take it because they just won't. But it brings up the question, why would they? Why would they say this in the first place if they greatly know the repercussions of what would happen if they didn't? Even if they didn't know the repercussions, somewhere down the line, the reason why the country's stuck together like concrete and super glue is because someone somewhere in every line of everything does know what they're doing. Just irrelevant of whether the general populace realizes it or not. If the government truly didn't know what they were doing, we would have receded back to what some of the other countries out there that aren't doing so hot, with countries or with governments that really you can visually see from the untrained eye they do not know what they're doing, and you can greatly see we're not them. We have everything they don't, because the government's not perfect in any way, has a huge number of flaws, but they're not out to get us. They're not out to get it. They are not the devil in this story, in this storybook. I don't know exactly who is, but it's not them, I can guarantee you. But back to the subject, why would they say that they're going to take guns away? This answer I was stewing on for weeks and weeks and weeks until actually a Vine video showed me the answer accidentally. And for those of you that don't know, Vine video is, to my understanding, any complete understanding, don't damn me for this definition, but a Vine video is it's a comedy-based video, series of videos that is created by people where you basically have 7 seconds to get a joke across, and they're great. They're fast, they're quaint, they're not prolonged or anything, and there's a good amount of them that are actually really hilarious. Granted, like everything, there's 100 times more of them that are just trash, but this in particular one, I don't know who made it, so I can't quote him, I can't give him credit to the name or anything, sorry. But the Vine was, they were walking through a store, it was like a sporting goods store, like a Sports Authority or something. They were walking by the gun section, and it was a man and a woman. This is a couple, and the woman turns to the man and is like, "So I hear they're going to do a thing about gun control." And the man runs over with his cart and starts shoveling everything on the shelves into the basket. And the next scene cuts over real fast to the gun dealer, and he's like, "Yeah, what am I interested in? Or what are you interested in today?" And he looks over and he's like, "All of them. I'll take all of them right now." I couldn't stop laughing for a couple minutes after watching that. But then it occurred to me afterwards that he's making a point there. Whether he realizes it or not, he's making a point. What if it is an economic push? Think about it. If someone says, "I'm going to take your guns away," the first thing that a lot of people did was A, say, "No, you're not," and B, panic that, well, maybe they're going to try anyway. I better get a hold of as much as I can. And in doing so, they have indeed created a whole new artificial demand for firearms. People started going out right then and there, buying all the guns they can, all the bullets they can, taking out second mortgages to get that awesome firearm that they saw so long ago that they've had on their wish list, and now moved it up in their list because it's going to disappear. In doing so, the economic income for firearms has more than quadrupled since the beginning of the entire gun control debate. There's no debate, it's not happening. And I know, and what if it was an economic push? What if it was creating artificial demand to force to psychologically force consumers to begin purchasing a surplus supply? It's a brilliant strategy, if it is. If it's not, I'm kind of ashamed. Someone somewhere had to have thought of it. I know I'm not the only one to see this. What if it is a push? What if some reason there needed to be an influx of money towards a specific department, and so let's threaten to take this away. The first thing they're going to do is want more of it. It's now the top subject in their minds. It's what they're always going to be thinking about if that's their life. Now it's everywhere. Now everyone in the U.S. is scrambling to get as much guns and ammunition as they can to defend themselves and to defend their rights. All the power to you. But personally, for me, and I know I am probably the only one in this country right now that still holds respect for what the government's doing and all that. And whenever I see a strategy like this, if it is true that this is a strategy and this is how it's playing out, then my response is, well, you could have just asked. Could have just, hey, want to buy more guns? Yeah, sure, why not? It wasn't on my mind for a while, but now that you mention it, I kind of do want that new pistol. Yeah, I'm kind of bored. Why don't we go out, buy some bullets, go to the shooting range, and a couple friends have a nice time in a friendly environment, and, shoot at cans or something. You know why? Why couldn't you just ask? I'm approaching 15 minutes and a couple 6 seconds, so I'm going to just leave you with that. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Jackson Hellbender. I will see you in the next video.